T.H. Culhane for Solar Cities again, and we're at Rosebud Continuum Sustainability Education Center in Land of Lakes, Florida, and we're progressively going off-grid. The we that I'm talking about is Inas Abdurrahman Culhane and me, the newlywed couple, and our honeymoon is to move into an RV. And some people travel in RVs. We're living in an RV, and soon we'll get our own RV that's a bit bigger. But we're powering the RV right now through these two 100-watt solar panels, which we moved to a sunnier location that's about 100 feet away from the RV, which is one roll of landscaping wire, 14 gauge, and that's what I have here. I have these in parallel, so I'm using a basically 18-19 volt system because that's what they put out with a 12 volt battery. And they're bundled here into this landscaping wire. A 100-foot roll of landscaping wire at Lowe's costs $36. And I've run it here into the grooves so that nobody trips over it. And then out over here, and you can see the RV that we're borrowing from Todd. Thank you, Todd, for letting us use it, and the Bishops for hosting us, and for all the great work that the Bishop Construction Company has done in creating this, because we're powering not only by photovoltaics but by biogas, which we get from the big biodigesters that are here on the Bishop Farm at Rosebud, way over there. And you can't really see it, but that's filling an air mattress right now, a queen-sized air mattress bag, which is down there. That's a little square to the left of the orange digester. And so we're going to get two more solar panels. That's 100 watts each. That's 200 watts peak when the sun is shining overhead. And we're going to have 4 by next week, so it'll be 400 watts. And that's enough to run fans and lights. All of our lights are LED lights. We're using these very expensive landscape lights that can just be screwed in to the landscaping wire. So the way that these work is there's these little pins down here, and it just penetrates the landscaping wire, and that makes it the connection, and that makes it just easy to run the landscaping wire down and put our lights up. We also have them inside. We can't do much because this is not our RV, so there's sort of cables lying everywhere. When we get our own RV, then we can put stuff behind the walls and make modifications. But right now, this is sort of guerrilla style. The Pusheen bag of biogas is sitting right there, and we're going in through the window. Now, this gives us all our cooking fuel. There's a propane bottle and a gas water heater over there. I have to figure out how to run the gas water heater on biogas. Not altogether sure if I can do that on this RV. That may have to wait till we have our own, which we can change. But the cooking is all through this tube here. And if you come in, you can see that we have basically under here, we have a 400 watt inverter that, you go over here, that I got from Walmart. It's now reading 12.8 volts as the battery is charging. There's a little charge controller back in there that you can see a little bit over there. And then I have this Stanley Professional Power Station jump starter compressor, which you get for jump starting your car. This is what I'm plugging the shower into through this little 12 volt socket here. I'm plugging that into there. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong about that. This is the lights. So I'm running my lights off of this battery here. The shower is plugged in, and you can't see it here, back in there with another banana plug. And then I have these switches right now for turning the lights on and off. And I have another switch. So as I showed, when you can't do any modifications, then you just do what you can in the meantime. So it's real guerrilla style. And then we have the shower. So here, I'm going to give this back to you, and I'll show you what we have for the shower. Also, because we're using such little energy, we're not using an air conditioner. We just use fans that we plug in through the AC inverter. And that works okay. So what we have going on here, let me take this out for a second. What we have here is we have a flow jet pump. Now there is another flow jet pump. Actually, if you go back, step back a little bit here. Step back a second. There is another flow jet pump that came with the RV, and the shower itself is running off that pump there. You can see it down in there. Not easy to see. Let me do this here. There we go. The SureFlow pump. So you can see the SureFlow right there. That is what is running the shower normally and all the sinks. But then I have a flow jet, which is like a SureFlow. It's another 12-volt pump. And I have that down here just in a little basin in case there's a leak. And there's a tiny leak there. So I've got it up on a brick just so that if it leaks, we can collect the water and toss it out. And then I have, what I can do for the shower is I can turn on the hot water here, and I can shower with this shower head for the first 30 seconds, and that's using clean water coming from outside, and it's heated by the propane heater. And once I have filled this basin up to my ankles with hot water, then I've rinsed off. All the grime is gone, but I like to stay in the shower, and I like to shave, I like to think, I like to daydream, I like to do some isometric exercises. It's just like a long shower. And I don't want to take a sailor shower and just rinse off and then be done. But I've invested the propane into heating the water, and I've invested in the use of the water. But once the water's up to about my ankle, like this, I can then turn this off, and then I turn this pump on, and my second shower head goes, and I can, whoa, well, I guess I'm going to have to use a hose clamp because it's pretty high power. But the basic idea with that shower head was, let me do it again here. Oh. Yeah, I got to get a hose clamp for this. But the basic idea is that you can then take a nice shower for as long as the water stays warm, because it's just using the same water over and over and over and over again. And then when you're done, then you can switch this off. So I do need a hose clamp for that, don't I? Okay, so then you can do that. And then if you want, you can turn on this shower and rinse off, and then open the drain and let the stuff go down the drain. So that's the basic idea of the recycling shower. It's got a little filter here so I can catch any hair or anything like that, and then I can empty that little filter that you see right here. This came with a sump pump, so this is just what I put down so that I have a low profile and I can get the water up. And then there's this little filter here, and that's all that is. And then that can be cleaned off and then put back in. And that's it. It's going to save us an enormous amount of water, because there's absolutely no reason whatsoever that we should be standing in a shower for a long period of time using new water, and after just a few seconds it just goes off our body and goes down the drain. When you invest in heating, whether you heat it with solar hot water, which we're going to do, or right now the propane, that heat will be retained, particularly in a enclosed and well-insulated shower area like this. That heat will be retained for 15 minutes or so, and it's really like taking a bath. And you take a bath, you fill the tub up, and then you sit there and you soak for 15 or 20 minutes, and then as the water cools down, you let it go and you get out and you shower, you rinse off. So this is just a cycling bath. And that's the basic procedure that we're going to do so that we can minimize the amount of water. We're hoping that here in Florida, most of the seasons we can use just rainwater that we collected. If we collect 100 liters or 200 liters, a barrel of rainwater, and we'll only be using maybe 20, 25 liters, so like a 5-gallon bucket. That's all we need each day to take the shower. And so the rainwater, if we can fill a barrel per week, then we're not going to need to depend on outside sources of water. And then what is discharged from this, the gray water, the soapy water, is going to go into the garden. And because we only use olive oil soap, and we don't use any phosphate detergents, we don't use any sodium lauryl phosphate in the shampoos. We're using baking soda and vinegar, or we're using what's it called here? We're using Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile soap, and that is all natural ingredients like coconut oil, potassium hydroxide as a base, which then just becomes a nutrient, potassium and water, and then it has palm kernel oil, and it has olive oil, and then rose fragrance, and hemp oil, and jojoba oil, and that's it, vitamin E, tocopherol, and citric acid. So this is completely nutritious for the garden. And between that and baking soda and vinegar, all of the stuff that's discharged then is an asset, not a liability. So we invite you to join us in this. Of course, it looks a little odd now because, as I said, this is not our IV. We can't touch anything. We can't drill. We can't hook anything up. But the concept is strong. And as of today, we will be cutting our water footprint down significantly. And we'll report back to you. So thanks a lot. We'll just turn this on again for the heck of it as we finish there. That's the basic idea right there.